Now, in the final part of today's show, I'm joined by Radio 2 star and green living queen Janey Lee Grace, author of this, The Imperfectly Natural Home. And in short, if you want to save the planet and be environmentally sound but are worried that the credit crunch means you might not be able to afford to, then you need a word with this lady, Janey. 0207 173 5555 is the number. And while you're dialing, I'd love to talk about some of these products, because often we do it the other way around and we never hear about these things. Well, let's start down this end. So, a plug. Why should I be interested in a plug?
Well, it's all about not leaving things on standby. We know that we waste, isn't it something like 740 million quid just through leaving products on standby, you know, leaving our electrical appliances. And, you know, of course, I'm imperfect. My books are called Imperfectly Natural on the website, so I don't get everything right. And we're going to have a ton of stuff in our homes, aren't we? So, but at least do...
So what does it do?
What it does, you just plug the item into that, as it were, as a master socket, and your peripheral things around the side. And then what it does is make sure that you can't leave things on standby. So effectively, switches it off.
So when you switch something to standby, it just cuts the power
Absolutely.
altogether.
And the great thing about it is it protects against power surges, which, as we know, can be nasty for computers.
Your tellies, your computers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can also get... I mean, that's amazingly cheap. It's only about 17 quid, which will save you an awful lot of money. Some of these devices are very expensive, but this is the one click, and I think that's really good value.
Oh, it's a multi-plug as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, you've got
so, you know, that's kind of excellent value. But ultimately, I mean, let's face it, you can just bend down and flick the switch if you don't want to spend the 17 quid. You know, there is that option. But some people just want a little bit of a reminder. So there's lots of things on the market. They do a panel as well.
What's this?
Save water. You know, when we flush the loo, every time we flush the loo, we waste so many gallons of fresh, clean water. It's actually really quite shocking when you consider that, you know, a third of the world doesn't have clean water, and we just flush it all away. So the least, I mean, obviously there's the, you know, if it's yellow, let it mellow.
The old Aussie
suggestion.
Brown, flush
but,
it down.
yeah. But for when you do want to flush, at least put a hippo in your tank, and that doesn't have to mean a large animal. That's a hippo, which is basically just collects water. I mean, you could do the same job with a brick, but, you know, not all tanks, you don't necessarily want to be humping a brick around. And that does the same thing.
What is it?
We literally lift up the cistern, stick it in there. You need to kind of do a little bit of origami to turn it into a kind of carton shape, if you like. You just literally stick your hand in it and it turns into a kind of bucket. And then, because that collects the water, it saves it all from being flushed away. So it's hugely simple, but it really
reduces the amount of water in the flush.
Reduces the amount of flush that goes down.
I'm with you, because there'll be less capacity in the tank.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That is a simple idea.
It's very simple, and you can really feel good about yourself, sort of not flushing away so much.
Great idea, very simple.
And the other little gadget there, which I'm really keen to tell you about, is the fuel saver there. It's called low gas.
This thing down here.
Yeah, that's it. It's called a low gas. And what this does is... The idea is that this will reduce your fuel consumption. I mean, what a fantastic thing at this point in time when none of us can afford petrol or diesel. And the idea is it's static magnetic fields. I know it looks just like a kind of bracelet or something.
I can feel the magnets inside.
Yeah, and so it's static magnetic fields which are applied to the fuel line in your vehicle. And allegedly, because I'm not a scientist, what it does is it perturbs the clusters which the atoms form. I mean, that just sounds like it makes them really angry, right? But effectively what it does is it creates more hydrogen atoms, which what that really means is you get more miles to the gallon, and it decreases the greenhouse gases by 50%. So you feel really good about yourself.
So I'm quite into my cars and engines. I don't know this product. I do know there's been all kinds of claims and counterclaims made for all kinds of different products.
There's been a bunch of magnetic products on the market. This has been...
How much does it cost?
It's really cheap. It's $14.99.
That is amazing. It's almost worth giving it a go.
And this one, the reason I really believe this one is because it's been tested by Cog Hill Laboratories, who really know their stuff. A very eminent professor, Roger Coghill, is behind this one. And they reckon they've tested something like 80 devices on the market, and this is the one that really does save fuel by 15%. The low gas.
Low gas.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, if it does do 15%, that's a winner.
For $14.99, it's worth a go.
You can give it a go.
OK, let's take a call. We'll talk about some of the other products. Amy, who's on the line, please?
OK, first caller is Angela from Norwich on line 2.
Angela, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi there. What would you like to know from our Janey?
I'd like to know how I can sort of rid my house of tobacco smells after people have been smoking.
Oh, OK, great question. What a filthy, disgusting habit. Send them outside. But no, you can easily freshen your home without chemicals, and you so should, because no one should ever buy a regular air freshener. Really expensive, damaging for the environment. They give you headaches, respiratory problems. You don't need them ever. And those scary plug-in ones, don't even go there. All you need, if the camera can get down here, is a plant spray, an old-fashioned plant spray. You know, £2, £1, I don't know. Half fill it with water and a couple of drops of essential oil. any fragrance you like. Lemon is good, really zingy. If you want something kind of antibacterial, then tea tree oil is great, and you can spritz to your heart's content. You can also
couple of
use
drops means the cost is
nothing. It costs you nothing. Just make sure you change the water, otherwise it starts to smell like a gent's urinal after a week or so. But just top it up. Bicarbonate soda is also one of the best air fresheners you can use. If people smoke, on a serious note, just get a carton or a little bowl, put a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, which you can buy in Boots the Chemist or anywhere, and maybe 1 drop of lavender oil as well, and that will soak up the smells and neutralise the smells. And of course, for general air freshening, we've got a lovely peace lily plant here.
What's the score
and yeah, it's not just to look pretty. That will actually remove pollution and all kinds of scary stuff from your home. I mean,
are they really good then? They're particularly good.
The peace lily particularly, NASA scientists have worked on this, and they reckon that a peace lily and spider plants, which cost next to nothing, and you don't have to talk to them, they just grow, they can remove formaldehyde from the air to the tune of about 30 feet. So they're amazing.
Very, very impressed. And they look quite nice as well.
Very pretty.
Janey, you're a wonder, as per usual. That, though, is all we've got time for this week. Don't forget, if you want more information, you can normally go to an autocue, but someone's moved it here, so I'm going to busk it. You need to go imperfectlynatural.com is your website.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nice
and you can download things to make this snake yourself.
OK.
Your draft excluder.
Like
Make
that.
your own.
Like that. Next week, we've got Comic Dominic